What's up YouTube? Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am back with episode 11 of the local experience. Today is the turn of Blue Eyes Primite. Now this is the exact same build that I showed you all the other day, being the budget version. I was able to take this to my local environment. I do have a door for you to see as well, which I'll probably put with inside the middle of this, or maybe at the end. But the idea is that it was very well. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a very small locals. There was only like 8 door lists, so it's not a huge kind of achievement vibe, but it was nice to kind of get the deck rolling again, making sure that it could be utilized. And it also shows that with the right approach, the deck can compete. So all of the matchups I faced all involved Fiendsmiths, which was slightly annoying, but kind of part of it. Round number 1 was Elf Note Fiendsmith. I was able to win that. Round number 2 was against the overall winner of the tournament, and that was on Yummy Fiendsmith. And then the final round was Goblin Biker Fiendsmith. So believe it or not, I faced 3 Fiendsmith variants, all different, one after the other. But the deck really did perform the way that I kind of expected it to. The only time it kind of fell a little bit flat was in the Yummy matchup. I was able to still do, that went a 2-1 in my opponent's favour. But basically, duel number 1, I opened up with 2 wishes. And then I think it was like a Ghost Spell, an Ash, and a Fallen the Virtuous. They ashed the wishes and then was just able to play through the rest. Game number 2, I made them go first, which caught them off guard. I was able to break their field and then win that duel. And in duel number 3, literally, I opened up no interactions. I saw an evenly matched in my hand, and I needed to, they went full combo, so it ended on Desiree, and then they had additional sets. So they had Called by the Grave set, Dominus Purge set, like parts that weren't part of the combo, all set, ready to go. And I top decked a Perulia. I was like, if I top deck a Droplet, I might have been in a much better position because I could have gone evenly chain Droplet kind of vibe. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The other matchup, like every single one of the matchups as well, they all either opened up Engraver or they opened up Tracked, which again was fine. The deck was still able to perform, but it did do really well. It kind of did exactly what I expected. So I'm not going to do like a full profile breakdown. I'm just going to kind of like highlight the cards for you as well, so you can kind of see. So for the Blue Eyes cards, and apologies, the deck's not in the cleanest of setups, but for the Blue Eyes cards, pretty straightforward on this particular lineup. I don't imagine you'll ever want to change this. So you got your 1 Majesty, the 1 True Light, 2 Blue Eyes, Mausoleum, the Roar, and then the cards you're going to want to play 3 of are going to be your consistency pieces, being your Wishes, being your Maiden, and then being the Sages, which I was able to actually finally upgrade to Secret. So now all I need to do is grab Secret barrels, and then where possible, the deck could be Secret. I don't think the original Blue Eyes actually has, or the original Blue Eyes artwork has official Secret rare. I think there's like Prismatic Secret and stuff like that, but regardless, I digress. This is like your Blue Eyes-esque, so you can take a picture, do what you need to do. I did take out Master right at the last minute, and I was also contemplating Jet, but that really kind of comes down to environmental kind of setups and everything else in between. For the Primites, you've got your 1 Drill Beam, your Frill Lordly Load, and your 3 Barrel. These should be so incredibly easy to pick up now. It's what kind of makes the deck so much cheaper and easier to put together. It does put in a lot of work. The only thing you've got to remember about this, and this is kind of where you need to put a bit of thought process into it, is reminding yourself to bring back the Barrel during your standby phase and bring back the Drill Beam when you control a Primite monster. So that could be the big difference between how this deck can be, like, you get a little bit more confident in it. Then for the non-engine and breakers, and this is what makes the deck so much good as well, because it can have a lot of space for non-engine. I decided to go with Perulias over Fualosses. Fualosses are in the side, the 3 Ash Blossoms, 1 Call by the Grave, 2 Imperms. Honestly, I can see myself taking these 3 cards out and you'd put in the Dominus Purges. But again, that comes down to accessibility. 1 Magnamu, it put in a lot of work because I faced all of the Fiendsmith matches. So this one actually puts in a huge amount of work. So no issue with that one. 2 Ghost Spell, and then I quite like the breakers I could play in the form of Droplet and the Fallen Virtuous. This is the card that I really do like right now. The fact of the matter is that 1 Fallen the Virtuous, if you do have access to Ecclesia the Darkest Dragon, which I know is going up in price, so now is your warning, pick them up while you can. I know it's £20 a piece. I think the lowest I saw it down was like £15 a piece. It's now starting to slowly creep back up. But the other is that 1 Fallen the Virtuous becomes 3 interactions, because you go first Fallen the Virtuous, send the Albion. Albion gets you the second Fallen the Virtuous. Activate the second Fallen the Virtuous, send the Ecclesia. Ecclesia's graveyard effect during your turn can put itself back, plus the Albion or any level 8 fusion monster. Put those back into the extra deck, and then you shuffle back 1 card on your opponent's field back to the deck, I believe it is. So that's your 3 disruptions from 1 card. If you don't have access to Ecclesia, that's fine. But what that would ultimately end up doing for you is it means you need to kind of look at playing a third Albion, because you'd go first Fallen of the Virtuous, send an Albion, grab you the second Fallen of the Virtuous, second Fallen of the Virtuous, send an Albion, grab you the third Fallen of the Virtuous, activate the third Fallen of the Virtuous, send the third Albion. So you'd play to get your 3 disruptions, you would have to play 3 extra deck slots and 3 main deck slots. Whereas with this one, you could afford to do 2 and 2, or you can play a 3 and a 2. It's entirely up to you. Droplets, I kind of like the idea of playing this up more, but then there's times when if you see multiples of droplet, you're like, this sucks so bad. Yeah. So that's everything in the entire main deck. For the extra deck, the only synchro monster that isn't a target off of the back of the Spirit Dragon, that isn't Spirit Dragon as well, is Crystal Wing. Never made it, but it's just one of them ones that my side deck pattern or my play was to go Ancient Fairy Dragon. So I was worried about Radiance, and the environment was actually, so it was Radiance and Yummies in the final. The Radiant player ended up losing, which meant that I ended up getting second place because my head-to-heads were a little bit better. But ultimately there was, so Elf Knight Fiendsmith, Yummy Fiendsmith, and Goblin Biker Fiendsmith. Then there was Yubel, there was Branded, Chimera, there was Blue Eyes, White Forest, and then Radiance. So the idea was that I would go Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon would then destroy the Mausoleum of White, which would then grab me access to Secret Village of Spellcasters, which is in the side deck. And then I would upgrade my Ancient Fairy Dragon into a Crystal Wing. So then the targets that come off the back of the Spirit Dragons, you've got your Lightstorm Dragon for spells and traps, you've got your Ancient Fairy Life Dragon for your aggressor to push for the OTK, and you've got your Ultimate Spirit Dragon for your Omni Negate or Target Negate. And then the 2 Spirit Dragons, and a lot of people forget that this stops your opponent summoning 2 monsters at the same time. It also can negate a graveyard effect, which again, in the Fiendsmith matchups was really, really important because I was able to use that, and then I was able to use the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon to tag itself out and get into whatever I needed to. You've got your 2 targets for the Fallen and the Virtuous, obviously the 1 Albion and 1 Ecclesia. As already mentioned, if you want to keep it as budget as you can afford to just play 2 Albions. You could then just still play 2 Fallen and the Virtuous, so it means you don't need to worry about burning the third one, but entirely up to you. The 1 Tyrant and the 1 Neo Blue Eyes, pretty straightforward and simple on these ones. Neo for the target protection, and then Tyrant, you can obviously summon out, destroy your opponent's monsters, and then recycle your trap cards. I think this gets better if you play Dominus Purge, because I just think Dominus Purge is a step up on Infinite Impermanence, but entirely up to you. And then for the Link monsters, 2 Spirits, 1 Seals, 1 SP. Not much more really needs to be said about those. And then for the side deck, so for the side deck, I was on a lot of 2 off for the monsters. So 2 Fuelos, 2 Nibirus, and 2 Drolls. Honestly, I didn't mind this. I felt that if you clog your deck down with too many Maul Charmies, it kind of becomes a little bit messy. So I decided to go with a 3 Perulia in the main deck and 2 Fuelos. You can do that the other way around if you want to. But the way that I looked at it is if I was going second, I'd be putting these 4 cards in. And then these 4 cards, you know, I've got 5 ways it could draw me into Nibiru, which meant I didn't feel that I needed to play 3. And I didn't want to clog the deck down with too many chummies and so on and so forth. Also going second as well, as I put the draw to one side. I wasn't evenly matched. I just felt that in a Radiant matchup, it could be quite good. It could also be quite good in the Yummy matchup, but I needed to combo it off with a Forbidden Droplet. And it's just a generally quite a good breaker, and I decided to play that instead of the Triple Tactics Thrust route. But and then for going first, I mean, Cosmic Cyclone and Draw a lot better like for first and second. But then for going first, 3 Dragon's Mind, I finally found my 3rd copy. Woohoo! And then Secret Village. So the idea is that when I was going first, you took out the 3 Perulia straight away. Like, that was the easiest side out possible. You'd go with 3 Dragon's Mind, and then if the matchup required it, or the Secret Village would put the work in, I would then side out another card and then fill in the Secret Village, which usually could be a Primate for Beryl, but you kind of want that as your starter. But I prefer Lordy Load as a starter, because then you add... for going first, because then you go Lordy Load, add you Ether Beryl, normal summon the Ether Barrel, set you the Drill Beam. So I kind of didn't mind that one, but more times than not, your Ether Barrel is always getting interacted with. I actually never went first, like with the side deck involved, because usually what I would do is twice I went and made my opponent go first, because I felt that they were going to be putting in breakers, and all I was worried about was that True Light is very susceptible. So I made them go first, which meant I never put these in, and then I lent on these cards up here, and they put in a bit of work for me. So you can't do that all the time, but sometimes that little hoodwink of switcheroo can really be a big game changer. So I'll put you in the highlights of, I mean, probably do like game 2. So game 2, round 2, game 2. That will just show you that when I make my opponent go first and how I can pick the field apart a little bit. Because ultimately in duel number 1, so duel number 1, the elf note, I forgot to press record. Duel number 3, the goblin bikers, the camera ran out of battery. And then duel number 2 was the only one I was able to actually record. I remember to record. So game 1, I just couldn't break their field. Game 2 was a little bit of back and forth, a bit of interaction, and then game 3, they just went off completely. Like I'd already mentioned, they've got the Call by the Grave, they've got the Purge, and then they had obviously their in-combo pieces as well, so it's like nearly unbreakable, bar an evenly matched, either double evenly matched or an evenly matched plus a droplet would have been godly. Anyway, that is it. A very short, sweet, simple one on this one. Like I said, I'll put the highlights of that duel, just so you can kind of see what Blue Eyes can do against the main meta, and then give you a bit of more of an idea. I'm not too sure what I'm going to be running at next week's locals yet. I'm still trying to figure that one out. There's, again, a lot of different decks I want to try out. I might even be going to a regional next weekend. I'm just waiting to see if a space opens up. And if so, then it will be Local Experience Regional Edition. So I guess we'll wait and see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.